Burba tenemos un panel con varias presentaciones sobre tecnologías de extracción de litio. Claramente tenemos 3 panelistas y cada panelista va a presentar sobre su tema. Y después vamos a tener un espacio para preguntas, respuestas. Entonces, durante las presentaciones, si pueden pensar en varias preguntas, piensen en los desafíos que tienen en sus empresas, qué oportunidades existen. Tengo curiosidad sobre qué están diciendo. Entonces, vamos a empezar con Dr. John Burba. Dr. Burba es un químico físico y un pionero de renombre mundial en litio y otras tecnologías de extracción de materiales. Su carrera de más de 40 años incluye una serie de proyectos de salmuera de litio en América del Norte y del Sur, en particular con Dow Chemicals, FMC Corp y Chemtura Corp. Más recientemente, el Dr. Burba se desempeñó como el director ejecutivo de Symbol Materials, una empresa que se centró en la recuperación de litio de salmueras geotérmicas en el sur de California. Bajo su liderazgo, Symbol desarrolló con éxito un proceso patentado capaz de producir productos de litio de alta pureza y bajo costo a partir de salmueras que anteriormente se creía que tenían demasiados contaminantes para ser procesados económicamente. El Dr. Burba también se desempeñó recientemente como CTO y vicepresidente ejecutivo de Molycorp, donde jugó un papel decisivo en la identificación y el desarrollo de numerosas tecnologías de tierras raras como parte de remodelación del proyecto Phoenix de las instalaciones de Mountain Pass. El Dr. Burba recibió una licenciatura de Ciencias Químicas y completó estudios de doctorado en Química Física en la Universidad de Baylor. Ahora se desempeña como fundador y director ejecutivo de International Battery Metals. Adelante con tu presentación, Dr. Burba, por favor.
Thank you very much. It's quite an honor to be able to speak with you today, and I love this because I'm going to talk about something I really enjoy, and that's process technology, chemistry, science, solving really, really hard problems. That's what always is the most fun. So we're going to talk about some key things here. The idea of lithium extraction, ethical lithium extraction. So the big question on the table is, how do we do that? And what is ethical extraction? So I began, as was mentioned, I began extracting lithium with a variety of techniques and materials right after I joined Dow Chemical Company in 1979. We tried a lot of things. Almost all of it failed. And it was a little bit of a frustrating thing, but that's life in development. But we ultimately learned what matters in lithium extraction. So I spent some time at FMC Corporation. I designed the Mountain Pass the Hombre Muerto project. And that project worked well for the time. It's not what we need today. When we look at what is necessary today for what I'm calling ethical lithium extraction, we need to be able to have extreme water recovery, recycling. We've got to protect water resources, and we've got to be able to produce lithium at extremely high efficiencies with very, very low impurities. And lastly, we have to have logical and smart methodologies for dealing with the tail brines, whether that be injection or something else. So the lithium extraction process that we have developed for international battery metals. First of all, this is a completely modular plant. Our first plant, and I'll show you some things on that momentarily, but our first plant is capable of producing approximately 5,000 metric tons per year on a lithium carbonate basis. If you're looking at a brine concentration of approximately 1,500 parts per million. We're already looking at upscaling that, so with the same footprint we could produce about 20,000 tons with the same brine. The extraction technology, though, is the core, because in order for us to be efficient, we need to have a very, very simple process. Simple processes are elegant, and that's what we need here is elegance. We cannot, if we have things that have to have a lot of band-aids in the process, that causes inefficiencies and extended costs. So we really focus a lot on the extraction technology. Our process is not an ion exchange technology. Many of the DLE folks are taking that approach, and that's a logical approach to follow. But we like what we're doing because we have developed an absorbent that has a double selectivity. It is selective for lithium, and it's selective for chloride ions. Therefore, when brine passes through this material, it absorbs lithium ions and chloride ions. Everything else goes by and stays in the brine. Then, we don't require any chemicals for regeneration. We simply pass water through the absorbent bed, and it releases lithium chloride. So that gives us a really nice advantage in that we're not fighting the chemical game, and then we can take the lithium chloride solution and dewater it. So we've demonstrated in our plant that we can recover extreme quantities of the water. So essentially, we will be recycling approximately 98% of our processed water, and we're recovering that as clean water. So that goes right back into the process. It just goes in a loop. So our water makeup cost ends up being very small, and it's basically we're making up the water that's in the lithium chloride that is shipped out to the conversion plant, and then we will, so that's the only water makeup that we would need. Excuse me. So on the brine piece of it, the brine comes out of this process, and I think this is a very important point. It is identical to the brine that's going in, except we've taken the lithium out. So in our broader piece, there are a lot of other things we can do. There is concern about the biological materials that are within the brine. We have very efficient ways of separating that material, holding it, and then when we have the tail brine, we can remix that, and so the brine literally looks like it did when it came in, except we've taken out the lithium. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading my own slides. So the key thing here is, as I said, what we're really after is we're after high efficiency extraction and water recovery, and we want to keep the brine clean. So this is done in a very, very simple process. It simply runs brine, water, and so forth. The other piece to this thing is that the technology is modular, and so basically we build this plant. We built this plant in a fab shop, and it took us about 10 months to build the entire plant, all the modules, and then we assembled it in 10 days. This thing is completely transportable. We can ship it anywhere in the United States. For instance, on any road, it's permitted loads, but we can send it by truck, we can ship it by rail, we can ship it by barge, we can ship it literally any place that we want to ship it. So I've got a slide here. Can you guys start that for me? This is a video of the assembly of this plant. And once we get it assembled, I'll tell you a few more things about it. So there's a picture of the plant. The plant that was assembled in 10 days with 9 people. So the key to this thing is the modularity. It's like Legos, you know, the children's toys. It's easily assembled. We have a 430-foot long pipe rack that breaks into a number of segments. And then that can be expanded. We can go up with it. We can go further out. Modules plug into the side. It's plug and play. And so we can put these things together. So the way to think about this is that if you look at a large lithium extraction plant, you know, DLE kind of plant that is stick built, such as the one that Livent is planning to build. I guess they've already started on Hombre Muerto. They're projecting that they first projected that it was going to be 20,000 tons, and they moved it to 40. But a 20,000 ton plant, their cost was going to be about $640 million, and they were projecting 6.5 to 7 years to build it. This plant right here, we can build the modules, put it in place, and start it up in approximately a year and a half. And for a cost that is easily a quarter of the cost of what Livent's talking about. The other thing is we're seeing lithium recovery rates in the 90 percentile range or greater. And we get very, very high purity lithium chloride from this process. It will require very little secondary processing to remove things like calcium, magnesium, sulfate, borate, things of that nature. So we're very excited about this, and we think that this kind of technology is going to be beneficial to Chile and the rest of the world. We've got a lot of the same kinds of problems in the United States, and we're just excited to get it out. So thank you very much.